You're listening to Science for Soundness, the podcast. This is not your usual podcast. This is a journey, and as with any journey, I don't know yet where this one is going. If anything, I'm hoping to inspire you to take the first step, even if it's into the unknown, even if you don't know where you're going and you do it scared. Hi, I'm Steffi. I'm an equine scientist and equine therapist. I've made it my mission to support horse owners on their individual journey of horse-human connection and personal growth. I want you to know that I'm with you on this one. Think of me as a friendly voice, a reminder to stay the course, to keep going, keep listening to yourself and to your horse, even when the going gets tough. Let's do this. Hi, and welcome back to the podcast. Today's episode is not a how-to, not a framework or a step-by-step guide like I sometimes go through. This is more of a breath, a moment even, a conversation with the part of you that's been holding a lot, maybe more than you realized. If you've ever felt like you were holding everything together while something inside you quietly unraveled, if you've ever created beauty out of chaos but still felt exhausted in your bones, if you've ever achieved what you thought you wanted only to realize the nervous system never quite caught up, then this one's for you, my friend. I want to start by sharing something I wrote, not for this episode, not for social media either, just something that came through when I stopped editing myself and let the truth come out, raw, simple, and unrefined. So here it goes. I've noticed how the past 3 years I've been rushing, pushing, and making things happen. And whilst it was all beautiful in the way it was unfolding for me naturally, there were also some brutal unravelings. My pony B died. I went through a breakup, and ultimately, I had to leave what I thought was to be my forever home just to set up a new home for the dogs, the geese, and myself. After being invited to the US and spending time with my long-lost soul sisters, I felt called to presence and to slow down. But everyday life didn't make that possible until I let go of the ideas and dreams I had and made space for the new ones. Because soundness is not just an idea I have floating around. It's a lived experience, a way of life. And I want to lean in instead of running away. I want to trust instead of worry. I want to move forward, not backwards. But for that, I need a reset. And what better way to reset than to go on a road trip and meet people and places that inspire you along the way, back home to yourself. So there it goes. That's the truth. The real, unfiltered truth. And it's what I want to talk about today, not just as my story, but because I know I'm not the only one feeling this way, in whatever variation that comes. So here's the thing. Survival doesn't always look like panic or chaos. People think it's always big and loud, but it's not. Sometimes it looks like being productive. Sometimes it looks like showing up every day, running a business, sharing your heart, holding others through their process, keeping everything afloat. It can look like success, like strength, like having it all together and all figured out. And yet underneath that, underneath the images and the outcomes, the nervous system is quietly saying, I haven't landed yet. I'm still holding my breath. I'm doing this, but it doesn't feel good anymore. And it's a hard thing to admit, especially when your work is something you love, when your life is full of things you've consciously chosen, when there's beauty all around you and yet your body still feels like it's gripping, bracing, anticipating the next demand. And that's the space I've been in, if I'm being honest. Not burnt out, but not thriving either, just stretched, quietly, constantly, and stretched. And for a while, I didn't notice because I was functioning. I was serving, I was creating, and I was offering everything I had. And it was helping people and horses. But the truth is, even when the work is aligned, we can still be out of alignment with ourselves. And that misalignment doesn't always scream. Sometimes it merely whispers. It shows up in the way you lose your words, in the way you stop hearing your own thoughts, in the way you stand next to your horse and feel a tiny, almost imperceptible distance between what you're saying and how you're actually being. I know you felt that. The dissonance between the presence you offer others and the presence you forget to give yourself. For me, the turning point didn't come through a breakdown. It actually came through softness. And this was really special, so I want to share that with you. I was in the US and invited to a clinic to present and be surrounded by women who saw me, not for what I could do or offer, but simply for who I was. I didn't have to prove anything to them. I didn't have to perform. I didn't have to explain. They met me with eyes that said, "You are already enough." And something in me exhaled deeply for the first time in years. So it wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was just a gentle truth returning. This is what safety feels like. And once I felt it, once my nervous system remembered what real presence felt like, I couldn't go back. I couldn't keep rushing or pushing past the quiet parts of myself. And I couldn't keep building dreams that no longer matched who I was becoming. And so I began letting go. Letting go doesn't mean something was wrong. It just means it's done, that it served its purpose, that it led you right here, right now to where you are. And I had to let go of ideas I had been carrying about where I would live and who I would live with and what kind of structure my life would take and what that would look like. The home I thought was forever wasn't anymore, and the partnership I thought would last ended, and the dreams I thought would unfold in a straight line, well, frankly put, they fell apart. And in their place, first there was nothing, not a plan, but something quieter emerged. And it wasn't a replacement dream, it was just space. And it felt uncomfortable at first, I'm not going to lie. There was space to listen again, space to ask, what do I actually need now? Space to honor the truth that soundness, true soundness, cannot exist without honesty. So you've heard me speak about the 5 pillars of soundness before. Actually, there were 4 pillars of soundness, and I'm going to talk about that in a different podcast, but I've recently decided that there is another aspect that deserves its own pillar because of some observations. Like I said, I will share that in a different podcast. But you've heard me speak about the pillars of soundness before: physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and now the 5th one, social. But this season, like this year, this summer, this season I'm in, basically, I'm not just going to teach them, I'm going to live them. And here's what that's going to look like. Physical soundness means I'm tuning into my body before I plan my day. It means movement when I need it and stillness when I need it. Eating food that nourishes rather than numbs. Resting not as a reward, but as a birthright. It's okay to take a break, and I'm going to live that. Emotional soundness means I let myself grieve. I cry when something hurts, and I don't try to tie it into a lesson right away. I feel first, and then I reflect later. Mental soundness means I'm creating more space than stimulation, noticing where I'm filling the silence with input and then gently replacing it with time to think, to dream, or just to be. When you're in that space, when you notice or recognize that straight away in the morning you have to turn on the music so it's not quiet around you, or you have to put on the TV or watch your favorite series or something to soothe you, you know that you are filling that silence with input. You are not being present in the moment. And it's okay to do that. Just notice it. And then spiritual soundness means I'm trusting, not forcing, not hustling, not needing proof before I move, basically. Just sensing what feels true and then allowing it to lead. even if it doesn't make the perfect sense yet. Social soundness, super excited about that, is maybe the most tender of all. It's asking, who do I feel safe around? Whose nervous system co-regulates mine instead of dysregulating it? And how powerful is that? I'm asking those questions every day now, not from fear, but from love. Because the most honest form of self-respect is choosing relationships that feel safe in your body, not just familiar in your story. So, this season, the one I'm still in, is teaching me that slowness is not stagnation, it's recalibration. That not knowing isn't failure, it's wisdom waiting. That letting go is not giving up, it is opening your hands. It's also reminding me that healing is not a performance. We don't have to be good at healing for it to be real. We don't have to be regulated all the time to be doing the work. Sometimes the work is simply noticing. Noticing when you've moved away from yourself. Noticing when your nervous system is tired of pretending. Notice when the version of you've been presenting no longer feels like home. And in those moments, we don't need to leap. We don't need to burn everything down. We just need to listen. So this summer, I'll be heading out on a 3-week road trip through Germany and the UK with my dogs, Sky and Gromit. Not because I need content or need to escape or something, but because I want to feel something different in my body, in my rhythm, and in my life. I want to walk into spaces where nothing is expected of me. I want to visit people and places and horses that remind me what it feels like to be before I do. And quietly, softly, I'll be sharing parts of that journey. There is no program or promise that goes with it, but there is an invitation, a way to walk alongside if this season speaks to something in you too. And it's called the Journey Feed. It's a private space where I'll be sharing reflections and voice notes and photos, videos, not as curated content, just as it shows up, just presence, as it happens, as I feel it. And you are more than welcome to join if your body says yes. It's €55 throughout April, one time, and you get access. That's it. And if you're in Germany or the UK and you would like to meet, I'll also be offering pay what you can sessions along the way with no formal structure, just you decide what it is that you want to dive into, and we see what you need, what your horse needs, and then we'll go from there. Just meeting presence to presence. And if none of that feels right for you, but you're still here listening, then thank you, truly. Sometimes just hearing someone name what you've been feeling is enough, and it's going to do the work. So before I close, I want to leave you with a few soft questions, ones I've been asking myself lately. What if you didn't have to be in a rush to be worthy? What if letting go was the most courageous thing you could do? What if your body already knew the way, and all that was needed was space to hear it? Thank you for listening, friend. Thank you for walking with me. It truly means the world. Thank you for choosing presence, even when it's hard. And I hope that I'll see you on the road, and let's see what unfolds. Hi, friend. I hope you found something in this episode that resonated with you. I'm beyond grateful that you hung out with me today for a little while, and I do hope that you come along for the ride. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, and if you feel like it, leave a review. Your feedback is greatly appreciated. If you have any questions or would like me to talk about a certain topic, check the show notes for ways to get in touch. I can't wait for next time. You got this.